edtech player Leverage Edu that recently raised 47 crore rupees in a Series A round of funding led by Tomorrow Capital. Existing investors Bloom Ventures and DSG Consumer Partners also participated in this round. In fact, they pumped in close to 20.5 crore rupees. With this, Leverage Edu has now raised about 60 crore rupees across 3 rounds, and the startup operates platforms like leverageedu.com, univalley.com, iv100.com, and a virtual fair platform called UniConnect, and actually claims to have served over 10,000 students via 25 university partners in more than 13 countries. Joining me right now is the founder, Akshay Chaturvedi. Akshay, thank you for being with us on Startup Street. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and congratulations on this new fundraise. Let's start by talking about your fund allocation plans. Of course, you have a brand new investor on board that has come in, of course, with the existing investors. But what is the plan? What are you allocating these funds for?
Well, thank you so much for having us and having me here. I think it's you're super lucky for us. It's always a delight to be here on the show. We're super excited about, in fact, raising a round in the middle of a pandemic. And in fact, a lot of our growth came from a platform that we call UniConnect, which you guys featured sometime in the middle of the year. So thank you for that, in fact, as well, which led to a lot of universities preferring us in the middle of the pandemic to find talent across different programs. So I think what we realized over the last 1 year is that a lot of our students were coming from places that we had no access to. Places like Kent in Haryana, Gurdaspur in Punjab, Vijayawada, Ernakulam down south, Surat in Gujarat. And we realized that the real problem that we were facing was a very Bharat problem to some degree. And what was also happening at the same time is that there was a magical shift on the supply side, which is where our students kind of head to for their college. So we were seeing that the countries will be divided into green zones and red zones. Green zones were countries where their leaders had kind of demonstrated great potential in terms of facing the pandemic, in terms of dealing with everything the pandemic was. And that led to students choosing new routes. So a lot of students essentially started looking to towards UK or Canada versus the US, or looking to say New Zealand versus Australia. And that presented a great opportunity to us. That presented a great opportunity to universities which are there in these countries as well, which led us to a decision of saying that, hey, let's raise some funds. Let's raise a smaller round sometime in July or August. And we realized that while we had started to kind of go for a smaller round, it turned out to be a full-blown Series A. And rightly, I think in subsequence to that, a lot of our funds are going to be used to capture these users sitting in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities on the demand side, reaching out to them, giving our counseling services to these folks in a very technology first way, kind of making counseling really accessible for them, making credibility of these counselors, of making these career decisions like kind of really accessible for them. And on the supplier side, we are going to jump into one more country in the coming 3 to 4 months. We are really deep in the UK right now, and we're really kind of looking forward to go deeper in Canada as well.
All right. So those are the top geographies that you would be focusing on. And thank you for expressing so much gratitude towards the show. Of course, it's our job to stay right on top of everything that happens in the ecosystem. But focusing back on Leverage Edu, you have 2 main revenue verticals at this point, correct? First is, of course, the student counseling, along with the value-added services that you offer in terms of forest, accommodation options, visa, etc. And second is on the university side, which essentially helps universities find the best match talent for their programs. But in terms of the revenue pie, can you give us a divide in terms of what part or which vertical is actually driving revenues for you at this point?
So right now it's about 50-50. We have 50% of our revenues in terms of a current MRR coming in from students and 50% coming in from the universities.
All right. So it's 50-50 right there. Akshay, I have to ask you, we're seeing a lot of consolidation in the edtech sector. Of course, it was a sector that saw massive growth throughout the pandemic, and not just you, but many of your peers and several other players in this sector did see a surge in traffic and, of course, in terms of fundraise or in terms of consolidation. So let me ask you straight up, is Leverage Edu up for sale?
Absolutely not. But Megha, so just to kind of go back to the question, I don't really see our business as edtech. I see our business as a combination of migration tech plus edtech plus travel tech, all of those things put together, right? And we're essentially in the business of helping people figure out what career is right for them, what higher education option is right for them once they've essentially gone through all of those, gone through the life cycle of all the folks that you're talking about. So I think they're solving a very different problem. It's very unique. It's very fundamental to how human beings have kind of lived, moving from one place to another in terms of finding a better opportunity. And I think that I don't know if somebody's even interested in doing something like this other than us. It's a really hard problem to solve. We've discussed about that before as well. And I think we really love solving this problem, and we want to keep doing this for many years to come right now.